Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So today's video is going to be on contouring and highlighting your face. I'm going to show you two different methods. One is with cream, one is with powder. And if you're not familiar, contouring is the act of reshaping and sculpting your face using shadows and certain products to sculpt your face. One, like an example of extreme contour. Anyone ever seen Maleficent? Angelina Jolie, like her cheekbones, like, granted, that's not a natural contour, but it's contour makeup. I always use Kim Kardashian as an example, how her face always looked really strong contour. And then highlighting is kind of the opposite of like bringing out certain features of your face with lighter tones. Like I said, I'm going to show you two methods, one with cream, one with powder, and just show you my methods and kind of easier tips and tricks. Contouring has gotten pretty popular, especially through like Instagram, makeup tutorials and things like that. Extreme contouring has been really popular. Obviously, we don't need it. That's always my speech. We don't need any of it. But it is pretty fun. However, contour has been around for years, for long before we've been born. So yeah. So we're going to do the cream method first. I do not cream contour regularly because it takes a little bit longer to get it to look natural. Now, some people like dramatic contour. I appreciate dramatic contour. I think it looks beautiful. I think it looks beautiful on me, but I'm just kind of lazy sometimes with that step. That's not a step I like to spend a lot of time on. So I don't do it as much. But this is what I do when I do it. So when you cream contour, obviously you're going to need some contour products. When you're looking for contour products, they should always be cool toned in relation to your, well, no, just cool toned. If you're brown, like me, they'll be a little deeper, but they'll still be cool. If you're lighter, they almost might look like ashy, taupey, cool. Like if you're lighter or fair, like that's perfect. You don't want something that's warm because then you're getting into bronzer. You should not contour with warm products. Why? Because contour is supposed to create shadows. It's almost like you're not supposed to see the contour. You're supposed to see the sculpting of the face. Shadows are not warm. Shadows are never warm. Look at your shadow on the wall. It's not warm. So yeah, you want to look for products like that. Depending on the texture, creamy, emollient, some contour products are a little bit thicker than others, so it just goes that way. What they not are concealers. Some might be labeled as contour concealer, but the difference in concealer and contour products is usually the coverage. Contour products are not usually meant to cover anything up. They're just meant to be there and be its own tone and do what it does. But in concealers are usually there to cover. You have some high coverage contour products, but make sure you look at labels when you're purchasing to understand that. When I cream contour, I still use a little bit of concealer, and I'll show you how I do that because, again, they're not concealers. What else I want to say? The cream contour method, it might seem difficult. I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. But I'm actually going to start, I have my brows on, but I'm going to start with foundation. Okay, so one thing when you cream contour, there are some people, if you look at videos, where they put their cream contour, all those products on under their foundation. I do not do that because blending will be a lot harder to make it look natural. That's a whole nother layer you have to blend together. And it's just not beginner friendly. It's just not even user friendly. Like, it's just not something that I enjoy doing, something that I think is necessary. So we're not going to do that. But we're going to start with the foundation. When you choose a foundation, you should be mindful if you're going to cream contour. You want something that is a little bit more coverage. Well, a little bit more coverage, but something that is going to give a natural look to the skin, and it's not, when you're putting these other cream products on, it's not going to cake up. So it's up to you. I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. So I'm going to go ahead, and my shade is Tiramisu. So I'm going to keep talking to you as I put it on. So yeah, you want something that, I mean, you can pick your favorite foundation, but you have to really understand what cream products that you're going to be using. Do they spread well? You know, you might pick a different foundation if that is the case. Do they spread well? Do they blend well? Are they thicker? All these things can kind of come into play when you are, doing this. So you got to think about that. I have my mirror here. Trust me, once I show you all this, and then that's why I wanted to show you the cream version first, because once I show you the powder, you'll be like, oh, that's way easier. But I think cream contour can look a bit more natural if done well. It can be definitely, you can do a lot more sculpting with cream contour, a lot more precise sculpting, as you will, because it's more controlled than, say, a powder that might blow everywhere. So that's one thing you need to know. I'm not doing a lot of foundation. Well, not a lot for me. It still might be a lot for some people. But yeah, we have it on. So cream contour products come in, I mean, you have drugstore, you have high-end. Again, because contouring has become really popular, a lot of brands are coming out with them. I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills, this is an old kit, Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Cream Kit. And this is in Deep. You can actually find these at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx for like 20 bucks now. So, and they have 6 shades in there. I did not pick these shades. This wasn't a custom one, but they can come out. But Ruby Kisses has one. Black Radiance has one. I like a contour kit that not just has a good contour shade, but has other light shades. Because if I'm going to contour, I'm also going to highlight with it. NYX has one. Here's one. Ulta also has one. So there's a couple that you might want to use. So, like I said before, my cream contours are not, they're not concealers. So what you should do before you cream contour, before you put on your foundation, if you want to color correct, you can do that. I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer in my skin tone. Just a little bit of skin tone concealer. This one is LA Girl. I'm just take a little bit and put that on like I conceal, just to give me that extra coverage under the eyes. You don't have to do this, but if you want concealer, want a little bit more coverage, I recommend doing it before the cream contour step. I'm just saying. Let me go ahead and blend that out. My little mini sponge here. Okay. Again, this is a talk through because I really enjoy talk throughs. Not because they're easier to edit, but because, I don't know, it makes me feel like a little bit more connected to you all. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm going to set that with a bit of powder because I have really oily skin, and yeah, there we go. Just a little bit more coverage for me. Okay. Again, if your contour or highlight products have, you know, coverage, or they can be used as concealers, and they'll let you know when you purchase them. They'll say that, then go with that. But anyway, let's go into cream contour. So a couple things you should know. When you're applying your cream contour, you want to use a smaller brush. You don't want to get it everywhere. So I'm going to show you the main places that people contour. I have a really round face. Look at your face shape. Understand your face shape. Understand what you want to contour, what you want to make skinny. The main thing I contour is my cheekbones. I have a round face, so I like to sculpt my cheeks. Again, we're putting our dark contour, our cool toned contour, wherever you want to appear smaller, whatever you want to shape. So I don't have a big forehead, but I do contour around my forehead to make my forehead smaller, and I'll put brightening shade in the center of my face. So most contour usually goes on the outside of the face, minus the nose. People contour their nose. I never contour my nose, but I'll show you today. Okay, so I'm going to use my cream products. I like to drop a little bit of oil in these because these are thick products. So I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to go into one of my dark shades. You see, with this kit, I use equally probably all 3 dark shades. It just depends. There's not that much difference between them. But today I'm going to go to the one right in the middle. So you can use your finger. You can use a brush. It depends on the product. Some have applicators. It's completely up to you. So this small brush I'm going to use to apply on my contour. And this is the AOA Studio High Definition Brush, E108. It's a pretty small brush. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of my contour. Okay. And that fishy face can help you. So we're going to start. I'm going to sculpt my cheeks. Now, I'm going to put this contour like kind of coming from my ear. You do not bring your contour any further in than your outside of your eye, because then it will look way unnatural unless you're going for that Maleficent look. That's what I'm saying about. Anyway, I'm going to do a swipe. And your swipe of contour doesn't have to be that big. 1/2 inch maybe. That, see that cool tone there? Definitely a cool tone. Okay. Really nice. I'm just putting more oil on. Okay. Then we're going to go up to my forehead. Again, it's going to make these things appear smaller. That's my point. And I like to contour. Some people contour all the way over. I don't know. I'm weird. I'm going to do it today. But I usually contour just like this. I put some here. And I put some here. Like that. Okay. Let's go all the way over. Let's really make this forehead appear a little smaller. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Now, if you have fat cheeks like me, you have a little double chin working out, you can definitely put contour below. You don't want to contour. You do not want to contour, again, your whole cheek. It doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not going to blend this just yet. Be careful of how fast things set as well. That depends on you. So now we're going to highlight. And I do this with concealer. You can actually contour and highlight with concealer. Just get a deep, cool tone concealer and a brightening lighter concealer. That's same thing. But anyway, I'm going to stick with the palette. And I'm going to use this light shade here. And I'm going to brighten everywhere else. Well, not everywhere else. But brighten the things I want to be bright. So, also, I forgot down my nose. So you want to contour the sides of the nose. See what I did there? I don't know if I'm too bright. Washed out. Just like that. You already can see how it shaped my nose. Okay, now again we're getting to our brighter shade. Now, most common places is you see this a lot if you watch any YouTube videos, whether it's a little bit of product or a lot of product, people dab concealer, brightening concealer in the same places. And let's do it under the eyes. That's really bright. I not to go that bright, but I like to go that bright. Under the eyes. And I like to go down the center of my face. So I'll go right in the middle of my forehead. Okay? Where I didn't put down that nose between the contour and on the chin. Okay? So now we blend all that out. I blend them out separately. It's up to you. Some people are really good and they use a sponge and just blend and blend and blend. I'm going to use the same sponge, but I'm going to do them separately. So I'm going to start with the contour. I'm going to use the butt of my sponge. If you want to use a brush, I would go with something like this, a fluffy kind of kabuki type brush. I wouldn't go any larger. I use a larger brush for my powder, but just so you can have more control. The Real Techniques sculpting brush is really nice, but again, it's a bit larger. So, yeah, you know. But I'm just going to use a sponge. So, I'm going to go ahead. You can make the fishy face, or you're going to blend out. And I blend by patting. And because this sponge is kind of fat, I'm going to squeeze the sponge. You see that? Now, because I like my contour, a little bit more just dramatic, I'm going to add a little bit more. And you can, again, start with less. It's a good tip. If you want to add a little more, you can add a little more. I want my contour a little bit deeper. Why? It just adds a little bit more drama to a sculpted face. So. Alright, and now I'm just going to turn my sponge over and blend out the highlighted parts. forgot my nose. I'm going to use a brush to blend out that part of my nose. My contour. My sponge is a little too fat. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set with powder. Now, you don't want to completely cover up your cream contour. That's another reason why I do powder contour, because my powders that I use to set my face are usually tinted, or usually my skin tone. But there's plenty of translucent powders on the market. Laura Mercier makes a really good one. Makeup Forever makes a good one. So you need to be careful with how you set your contour. So I'm actually going to set my face with my Laura Mercier. Show you guys, I'm still here. Doesn't matter if it's loose or tinted. I'm going to set my contour with Laura Mercier in any place that's my skin tone with my Laura Mercier. And then I'm going to the lighter parts with my MAC Studio Fix, because it's a yellow powder. You can use a banana powder. You can use whatever you'd like. This is just what I'm choosing today. But I like to set with two different things. Some people set their whole face with translucent powder, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set the lighter parts with the MAC Studio Fix, and this is in shade C8 to keep those things light. This has a little bit of a yellow undertone, or a lot of bit of a yellow undertone. Okay, and now I'm going to take my Laura Mercier translucent powder in medium deep. You know, whoa, that's a lot. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. Go into a powder brush. Use one of my new ones. And I'm going to set the entire face. If you have oily skin, your matte powders, whatever. And there you go. You have cream, highlighted, and contoured. And then continue on with your makeup. Blush, highlight, you know, all of that. Do what you gotta do. So now, we're gonna try it with... So we're back. I have on the foundation again. I wiped everything off. Put it back on. So I just have on my foundation, and we're gonna go with the powder contour method. Now with the powder contour, I don't like powder highlight. I do use a brightening concealer to get that same look. Well, not brightening concealer, but a concealer that's lighter than my skin tone to get that bright look, and I set it with a powder, but then I contour with a powder. So that's where we're going to go with this. So I have on my foundation, I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpted Concealer. Another trend that is going on right now is concealers are being labeled as like sculpting, and because people will highlight their face with concealer. And when I say highlight, I mean brighten those parts. Not highlight like adding that, you know, glow, like our fleekiness, if you will. So anyway, I'm going to use this Too Faced, and this is the shade Maple, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. You want it to, it's up to you. My cream contour was way lighter than this. This one is about, I don't know, three-ish shades lighter than my skin tone, which is normal. I will go even lighter, but so I go ahead and I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna blend it out with my sponge. My sponge is still going strong here. This is how I do my makeup every day. This is what I use in terms of contour. Like I said, when I want it more dramatic, or even, yeah, just a little bit more sculpted, I do the cream method. But, yeah, so And the reason why I use concealer instead of cream like why didn't I use the cream contour here at this step too if I'm doing the same step? Because I just like coverage. With the cream contour method, I usually have to do concealer and then cream contour because my cream contour products aren't as high coverage as my concealer. And why do an extra step if you don't have to? So that's kind of the only reason. But some people enjoy that look. And while I do, my laziness gets me every damn time. So I'm just blending out that brightness there. Okay, and then I'm going to set this with my MAC Studio Fix again. I use different ones: banana powder, brightening powders, Black Radiance as a finishing powder, and a light yellow type of tone. Just whatever. Just add to the brightness. I would not set what you just brightened with a skin tone powder, like you know how you can set your powder foundation with a pressed powder, something in your skin tone. I wouldn't set the lighter parts because then you're just covering it right back up. So make sure the powder that you set your lighter areas with will add to the brightness, whether that's a translucent powder or something that's just lighter, because setting with a skin tone powder kind of just defeats the purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then before I powder contour, I set my foundation. Because I have oily skin, I set my foundation. Because my powder contour is a powder, I can put powder on top of powder setting. So I this is where I set the rest of my face with my powder foundation, pressed powder, depending on how much coverage, whatever. Since the La Mercier is out, I'm going to go ahead and use that again. And I'm going to go ahead and set my face. Whoa, it was a lot down there. But see how I'm avoiding the under eye area? I do go down the nose a bit, but I'm not really trying to mask. Look at me. Look at me. I know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to mask it. Okay. All right. Now we're going to contour. I'm going to contour the same way. In the same places. There's so many contours. My favorite contour products, the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. Again, you're looking for a cool tone powder. Eyeshadow works really well if you have a cool tone brown. I would use to contour with a cool tone brown. This Black Radiance palette, you know, is one of my favorites. Their contour palette, specifically for this contour shade here. This one's just a bit too warm and too light. My Profusion contour palette. This right here. Again, you're looking for a cool tone. Anastasia and Elf has a good contour palette. Ulta has a good contour palette. Yeah, I am using my Nicka K contour duo. You can find this in like beauty supply stores. This is how much I love it, you guys. It's all broken up. So, and you can see the pan about to starting to creep through. So I use this specific shade here. They have different tones of this. This is NDO09. That's the shade of this duo. And for powder contour, you can use those larger, fluffier brushes. Not as big as a powder brush, not as big as a blush brush, but the next step down from that. And this one is by Real Techniques as well. And this is it's labeled as a contour brush. And I like this dome shape of it. Again, it's not that large. So I'm going to go into my contour powder, and we'll start with the jawline as before. I'm sorry, not the jawline, the cheekbones as before. Remember, we're not bringing it past that eye. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with my fishy face. See how dramatic that one is. And I like, also I like this contour because I don't have to set this powder. I don't have to set a powder. And so it's a little bit more prominent. And I can make my cream prominent, but again, you gotta set, it's just a lot more layers to that. You have to be a little bit more careful. Also, in my opinion, powder contour is a little bit easier to fix. If you overdo it, just put your skin tone powder over top. You know, kind of dust it away. It's completely up to you. See how we're sculpting? We're sculpting. We're sculpting. We're sculpting. We're sculpting. Alright, I do not contour my nose on a daily, but let's do that as well. So with the contour on your nose, you want obviously a smaller brush. So actually like an eyeshadow brush would work better. I'm going to use this blending eye brush from e.l.f. and do some nose contour, okay? Same way, same place. But I'm gonna blend with my finger because again I don't do this on the daily. But and one thing with nose contour, please bring it up. Don't just contour. Bring it up to the eye socket and blend it out, like the eyebrow kind of area. Blend it out because you want it to look like your nose is just skinny, not like you contoured it. So, yeah, you see that? And that's it. That's the powder part. That's it. You can go ahead and finish the rest of your face with your blush and highlight and things like that. I always prefer the contour method in terms of time. That's how easy it was. In terms of like natural, just sculpted face though, cream on the way. So each method has its benefits, its pros and cons. Let me know if you like this style of teaching style video. Stay tuned. I think I have a brandless beauty coming up. Hint. Anyway, I love you guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of the products mentioned in this video, feel free to leave them down below. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.